Hello, welcome everyone to Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Burn It Down. Thank you for joining us again. We've made some technical improvements in our streaming capability, so hopefully things won't be shit awful this time. But yeah, so I will go ahead and bring everybody in on it. Look at everybody, hi! So yeah, let's go ahead and I'll introduce everyone. We've got up in the upper left there, we've got Alex Mars, played by Mr. James Davey. We've got next to him, Cadence Hughes, played by McKenna Kelly. Down there, we've got Willow Walsh, played by Mo Ferrer. Is that how we pronounce your name?
Mo Ferrer.
Ferrer. And Madison Faircloth, played by Mr. Dylan Coffey. Fuck you too. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for showing up. How's everybody been?
Not bad.
Cool.
Ready to punch some literal or hypothetical Nazis.
I mean, you know, I'm sure I can find some for you in this terrible world of darkness. So when last we left, I believe you had recovered the infamous Sister Lynn from where she was being held. I think we'll go with held. That sounds like a good way of saying it. And then you returned to the Haven and you had a package delivered to you. But we'll go into the details of that specifically because right now we need to rewind slightly and talk to Alex for a little bit.
Oh, fun.
So Alex, we're like I said, we're rewinding. You are in the basement with Madison and Willow.
Okay.
And you've just gotten Sister Lynn out of that room, and you're starting to head up to the upstairs with her when your compatriots hear something from upstairs, and they say they're hearing voices. And as soon as they point it out, you start hearing it too. And this triggers a pretty severe onset of a panic attack for you.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, you kind of lock up, and it's one of those special panic attacks because the curse really starts to grab onto it, and you see, time starts to really slow down for you in a very unpleasant hallucinogenic sense. Yeah. And so you're kind of paralyzed within a moment, and you see your friends, they look up, and they're looking intently up. And away from you, so they don't see what happens to you.
Oh boy!
But you see a gnarled, withered hand come out from behind your head very quickly, and it rubs something over your eyes, something that is halfway between wet and dry, but smells heavily of blood and ash. And then the hand moves down to your mouth and clamps over it with an unholy strength. And then moments later, although it has to be instantaneous as far as the outside world is, you see another bony hand reach out from behind you, grabbing a very dull, old-looking knife that painlessly plunges into your heart, and then you are wrenched backwards. Getting into the real world for a split second, it's shortly after this, Willow and Madison, that you realize Alex is gone. But we dealt with that earlier. Alex, you lose yourself for a bit. You lose time. You lose your surroundings. You lose pretty much every sensation that would track you to any sort of reality. So you're not exactly sure how long it's been when you come to. But when you come to, you're somewhere else. The first sensation that hits you is the palpable quiet, the lack of ambient sound. The next sensation that comes to you is the perfect, cool, not quite cold temperature that is surrounding you. And then more senses start to come online, and you realize that you are in a very sparsely decorated, very sort of monochromatically set small sitting room. You're in a comfortable but very simple chair. There is a table, a small table, sitting next to you, and you see a window a couple of feet away from you, with its curtains open, and you see the cityscape of Atlanta. But it's not the cityscape of Atlanta that you see every night. It's older.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you've seen this. You've seen this particular one before. You're alone.
Yep.
And pretty much the only thing in the room, there's a door pretty much as far away from you in this room as there could be. There is a single door. So, and the only other real thing in this small room is that table, and it has a newspaper on it, just sort of folded and placed.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna pick up the newspaper as if I belong here.
Okay. You pick it up. It's a copy of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The front page is a. It's weird because you know that this should be in color, but there's no color to this paper. But
Okay.
the front page says fire at the Fabulous Fox Theater. And you look and you see that the date is from July of 1999.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm just well, I'll read the paper for a bit, and then try to blend in with this new reality where it was always 1999, and I was never a part of anything else.
Yeah, you're reading it, and you weren't around. You weren't a vampire then, but you remember hearing that July 1999, and this specific event was the sort of the inaugural attack of the Sabbat as they raged up the East Coast.
Oh,
So
that's fun.
So everything in the paper that you're reading is total bullshit, except for the fact that there was in fact a fire at the Fox. When you sort of finish that article and move it, and sort of trying to start reading along, that's when you realize that there is someone standing next to you.
Oh, neat. Who is it?
It is a very well-dressed, older man, very pale skin, but he is African American, but he has very gaunt, pale skin, and just sort of empty places, like actively black empty places where his eyes should be.
Okay. I'll offer him the paper.
He takes it, folds it, and puts it back on the nightstand. It says, "Ma'am will be with you soon."
Well, excellent. I've got many things to do tonight, so I don't have very long to wait.
She is getting herself prepared. And there's a sound of a bell ringing from the other side of that door, and he says, "Ah, she's ready for you."
I'll stand and wait to be ushered into the door.
Okay. He walks you to the door. He opens it, and leads you into a slightly larger room that has much more very old but very high-end decorations. Like this is, you're walking into what really feels like your grandmother's like little like sitting and receiving room if your grandmother was several hundred years old.
Huh.
And that just is the feeling that it gets, and sort of sitting with some embroidery in her lap is this withered old husk of a woman, impeccably dressed in antebellum in an antebellum gown, and she is just pulling the thread through the cloth, doing a couple of finishing touches, and she puts it down and says, yes, young Mr. Mars, how polite of you to come calling. I don't get callers very often. Please come in. Please sit.
I will, nod slightly as I gesticulate some form of respect. I will sit down, and your home is quite beautiful. Thank you for inviting me.
Like, oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for calling upon me. It is so delightful. Ah, yes. Well, I would offer you refreshment, but that is not
It's quite all right. I had a bite before I came.
Good. Glad. We must, of course, observe the hospitality. Yes. Thank you so very much for coming. You are I'm going to mangle this name, for it's a foreign name. You come from Vanasisha? Is that
Vicentasana, yes.
Vicentasana? Yes. It's been so very long since we've had a chance to reconnect. Of course, I hear she's no longer with those ruffians. So when you
She's changed her philosophy somewhat, I suppose.
Yes, that's so good. That's so good. You must tell her next time you see her to come calling upon me. Now that she is not indecorous.
I'll certainly pass that message up the chain.
Good. Thank you. Now, what was it that I wanted to talk to you about? There was something I needed to tell you. What was it? Like, you get the sense that she's asking you that.
I believe that your summons spoke to me about some dire prognostication for the future.
That's cheating, though. Isn't it always the way with us? No. You're right. You're right, but you're not entirely on the point. No. The matter, indecorousness. Yes. That is no. It's not indecorousness. It's something like that. I need to speak to you of a matter of what is it? More severe.
More severe than being indecorous. Well, I'm from the old country, so of course there's not much more.
You're very much right. But there are some things. But I cannot. I need your help. What's worse than that?
What's worse than being indecorous? Being barbarous, I suppose.
Barbarous. Yes. Barbarous. But that's not it either. That's closer. It's closer to the mark. It is. Like you see her like pick up the embroidery and she like starts to tear at it, like she's ripping things out with her like gnarled fingers. Like, it's a nasty word. I can't bring myself to say.
I'm listening to her over the cobweb. What is she saying?
When you sort of tune into her over the cobweb, you get a short burst of images of just terrible, blasphemous acts and rites and just unholy things.
Blasphemy is the word you're looking for.
It's like tension goes out of her. Like you saying it makes it okay to talk about it, but that's not quite it either. It's very close. It's
close to barbarism, it's close to blasphemy, but it's not quite either of those things.
No, it's there's formality to it. There's something doctrinal. What could it be? What could it be?
Impropriety.
Yeah, that is terrible, yes, but that is actually less than what I'm talking of.
Oh. Huh. Scott, you're gonna have to help me out here. I'm gonna make a roll of some description to see if I can figure out what word she's saying, because James is just coming up blank
Sure.
right now.
That's fine. Actually, go ahead and give me an intelligence academics roll.
Oh, that's a huge roll for me. Because Alex is way smarter than I am.
Make sure to include your current hunger.
Okay. Wait, not athletics.
No.
That's the wrong. 5. Okay, 2 successes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you sort of put a few pieces together. It's the blasphemy, but with the doctrinal connotation to it. And like listening to like the edges of the whispers of the cobweb, you think the word that she's thinking of is heresy.
Heresy. Oh, yeah, that's okay. So I'll say that. Heresy. You're looking for heresy.
Oh, and when you say that word, all the tension just sort of bleeds out of her like you've lanced a boil. And it's just all of that relief just sort of floods into her. Yes. Yes, that is it. That terrible, evil word, heresy. But even finer a point, a heretic. A heretic, that's what I need to talk to you about.
I'm all ears, of course.
Do you know of any?
I know of some things that could border on heresy, depending upon your specific takes, I imagine.
See, this heresy, this heretic, is a peculiar, particular breed, for it is a heretic amongst heretics.
Ah.
How awful such a thing must be.
So even among those that would blaspheme, he is a special breed set apart.
Yes, those who blaspheme consider him, and it is a him. It is a him, that's right. Those who blaspheme, those who heresy, consider him to be heretical amongst themselves.
I think I have some idea of what you're talking about.
Yes. Do you now? What am I talking about?
There are certain organizations that are by themselves set apart for acts of heresy, but they have a strong religious, pseudo-religious code amongst themselves that should those codes be violated by members, they might even find that person to be persona non grata.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. This is older than sects. Older than religions.
Older than religions.
Yes. You see, one day a very long time ago, Mummy and Daddy loved each other very much, but then Daddy realized that Mummy was an evil, blaspheming, corrupt whore, and banished her from the land, and she, like a terrible slut that she is, seduced away some of Daddy's children. And then when Daddy found out, he went and killed every single one of them and burned her whorehouse to the ground, as was right and proper, and I'm not being sarcastic at all.
I never would see you debasing yourself for something so paltry as sarcasm. Do you suspect that some of those children were to get away? I think I have an idea of one.
Yes. Some of them survived. Some of them fled. Some of them went across the sea. And she says, but you need to be going soon. You need to be going. You can't be here for very much longer. This is not a place for you.
I agree with that assessment.
She says,
what would you like me to do about the heretic if I were to find him?
Oh, you can't do anything about him. And she says, he's already here. And she points out her window. And you see it's not the same cityscape. It's
Okay.
wilderness. It's untouched by man. You see a hill off in the distance, and you see a man totally black, utterly comprised of darkness, on a horse with those antler crown on his head. And then you sputter and cough, and you awake. And you are in that same basement, but it is filled with ash and debris, and you're actually somewhat buried under planks of wood and pieces of wall.
I clearly will dig myself out. Has the house burned down and collapsed on top of me?
It appears to be. So you spend a little bit of time digging yourself back up, and I'll get back to you when I get
Okay.
back to you.
Sounds great.
Okay, so Cadence,
Oh, bro.
Willow, and Madison.
Hey!
Yeah, how's it
Hi.
going? You are moments away from having the ceiling of your haven semi caved in somewhat, as a very large, heavy package consisting of a couple of four large tires filled with concrete and further filled with a young man having crashed through. There's a few final gurgles and screams from the boy, and he very quickly expires. What is everyone doing?
Cadence is gonna look at the tires and just like stare at them and then get this sort of really half pissed off, half guilty look on her face because she has a feeling she knows what this is about.
Yeah, every one of those tires has a slash mark in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize the boy, or is it just
You've never
stranger?
seen him before in your life.
Madison is just going to look at it and say, "Ah, yes. Is this the vaunted humanitas of the Camarilla?"
What? I sort of see Cadence's like the face journey on Cadence, and I'm like, what? What's this about?
So, I might have been having a little bit of a party with some of the guys over in Edgewood, and there may have been illicit substances involved, and poor decisions were made. Well, on those illicit substances, and I may have, in a moment of admitted stupidity, suggested that we might send someone to slash the sheriff's tires because he's such a dick.
Oh, this must have been while I was gone.
Yeah.
I go outside. I immediately like go outside to see if like anyone is still out there, if I can see someone like hauling ass down the road or what.
Give me a wits awareness roll.
While she's rolling, I'm going to say I want to use some of my influence to make sure this isn't really responded to.
Okay. I would like for you to give me a manipulation politics roll. Add your influence.
One success.
One success. You faintly hear the sound of a helicopter moving out of the area.
So I have 8 successes.
Okay. Yeah, you don't believe that there will be any official response to this whatsoever. Now, there are still people in this area who might have seen something. But as far as, like, there's no cops coming, There's any sort of reports on official levels get immediately squashed. But it's as covered up as you can make it with a couple of phone calls.
That's me doing my part.
I sort of like come back in with my finger pointed up. They might have a helicopter, or they might have just been a coincidence.
Well, I don't think you'd be able to vault those things into our roof from the street.
I mean,
so helicopter makes sense.
You don't know
that. There's a pretty awful smell starting to come from the package.
Okay.
Oh, God,
I guess I'll take a look.
Yeah, you investigate this.
This is my fault.
I mean, like,
it's Cadence's fault. She's gonna be the one to go in and see what.
Well, like the blood and the contents of a ruptured bowel are sort of leaking out from this thing. This body is pulped. Like it has been. This impact has just ruined this body, and all sorts of things are leaking from the enclosure.
Do you want a contractor bag? Or oh god, I sort of go to the little kitchenette, start opening up things for like the same paper towels, contractor bags. Like, oh my god.
Oh man, how am I seeing scenes from Pulp Fiction?
I don't know, Scott. Where are you?
I don't know, but yeah, you get the cleaning supplies, and it continues.
I give it to her.
Yeah, she's gonna start cleaning it up as best she can, and she's gonna be like, in my defense, I only suggested it. It was the Edward guys who said they were gonna find someone to do it.
I mean, good on them for finding his car.
Yeah, but not good on them for letting it get back to me.
That is, I'm gonna admit that's on them. Yeah.
The Edgewood guys?
Yeah.
Which guys?
I think she was chilling with that entire coterie that night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And she would say specifically the one who said, "Oh yeah, I know a guy."
Yeah, that was.
I don't actually think you told us any of
that. That was Trayvon.
Okay.
I guess we're going to have a bit of a conversation with the snitch next door.
I mean, you don't have to. This is my shit. I'll clean it up, she says as she's cleaning up all of the shit.
You can have the post conversation if he's not receptive.
All right.
So, it takes a bit of doing to clean this mess up. Because it is a bit involved. How are we getting rid of this body? That's what I want to know.
Maybe just like my mind immediately goes to, since it's pretty much pulped anyway, just put small pieces in larger bags of trash and distribute them in dumpsters across the area out of our immediate neighborhood. Does that sound good?
That does sound like it's a thing. I would like a let's see here.
Get the clear Cadence.
Indeed. Yeah, because you kind of have to extract the body a bit because you have to chip away at concrete. But I would like a let's go with a wits streetwise roll to distribute out the chunks. While she's up to this, is there anything specific that Willow and Madison are up to?
Aside. Oh. Did we leave the Sister Lynn in her house?
No. She's in her old room. It is getting close to dawn, I will say. Four?
Then I'm
Okay.
probably gonna get out of here. I don't like staying in this haven. Not to be snooty or snobby or anything, but there's a hole in the ceiling, and I don't feel comfortable.
That's perfectly fair.
So you
Yeah.
beat feet. All right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're able to make it back to your haven pretty much in time to get into your safe room before dawn rises.
Sorry, guys. I have to pull bullets out of my shoulder.
That's totally fair.
Just gives you a thumbs up from her position, shoving things into trash bags.
I'm going to spend the rest of the night shopping for roofing contractors.
That is the thing that you can do.
Because this is my power fantasy. Having enough money to solve problems that occur in my household without it being utter financial ruin.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's just unrealistic. I don't think that you can.
Well, it's a fucking fictional game, Scott.
I guess so. I guess if we want to call upon that. All right. So, eventually, the sun does rise. Everyone gets back into their havens. When the sun sets the next evening is when you're digging yourself out of this very much burned down house. You're very covered in ash and debris. When you come out, you see there's like a police line or a police tape around it. There's no one here right now, but you emerge from this conflagration, the former conflagration, and greet the night. And the rest of you wake up. I want everyone to roll hunger for me, please.
Pass.
And also I did get 4 successes to distribute those body parts.
I heard. I saw that. That's cool.
All right.
I am pretty hungry.
Okay. So what is your hunger at now?
3.
Oh boy. And
I've been shot. Things are rough.
That's true. And what about Alex? How'd you do?
I succeeded.
You succeeded? Okay. And what's everyone's hunger at right now? Just so I can tell.
I'm at a comfy 1.
Comfy 1, 2, 3.
1.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So everyone wakes up in their haven. Alex, what are you doing?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of investigate the area. Like, I assume that is this the house that we were brought to when they all came to Atlanta?
No. This is the house. This is the same house you were in that you got Sister Lynn out of.
Oh.
Okay.
The one that you were in last night, basically.
Okay.
But in the intervening time, it has been burned to the ground.
Huh. In that case, I'm probably not going to kick around here for too long because I don't know who burned it to the ground or why. I'm gonna just first of all, I'm obviously gonna throw premonition down to see if there's anything that I've missed at this scene.
Okay. Give me a arouse check, and then make that roll for me.
I have 3 successes.
Okay. Did your hunger go up?
It did not.
Okay. So yeah, you sort of scan over the scene, and you see indistinct figures, unfamiliar figures, dragging people and bodies into the house. Some of them are struggling, some of them are not moving at all, the bodies that are going inside. You hear this sort of echoey cacophony of a couple of gunshots, and then fire just starts to consume your vision. And you for a split moment, you are in the burning house, but then it goes away and you're back.
Oh, wait a minute, we burned the house down. What am I doing here? Okay. I'm gonna go home.
Okay, all right. So
okay, I think I misunderstood. So I went missing on the stairs in this house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I didn't teleport. Okay, cool. Well, then I dust myself off and catch an Uber.
Okay. Where are you Ubering to?
Back to our communal haven.
Okay, noted. Okay, so when all right, so Madison, what's the first thing that happens when you awake from the day sleep?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking what you do. What do you do in the first thing?
I mean, I'm gonna get up and check my email.
Okay. Yeah. You've got a couple of responses on your roofer. There's still a hole in your roof.
Yep.
But there are you basically have a couple of bids to take care of it ASAP.
Cool. If any of them offer overnight, that is who I probably go with.
Okay. It costs a little bit more, but you're able to take care of it.
Whatever.
So yeah, that goes off. There's some T's to cross and I's to dot regarding your shutdown of city response regarding this, but it just takes a little time, a little bit of finesse. Cadence, what happens when you wake up? Can't hear you.
All right. First thing she is going to do is, while Madison is doing the last finishing touches on the things he needs to do, she's going to go get herself to talk to Trayvon before he does, because as far as she's concerned, this is, Madison isn't involved in this.
Okay, so you're gonna go to Edgewood and try and find the East Street Boys.
Yeah, she has to be the one to stand up for herself. She's not gonna let anyone else do that.
Okay, noted. All right, so you make your way over there.
Probably sends him a text being like, "Yo."
Okay, yeah, you send a text. He basically says, "Meet me at this location in X amount of minutes."
Mm-hmm.
Willow, what are you up to?
So when I roll out of my bed, I immediately roll over, and there's a bunch of sticky notes next to my bed, and I immediately peel one off and write "body disposal?" on it, and then I go and I put it on my bathroom mirror, which is scattered with just hundreds of sticky notes with other things that say stuff like that. And I just put it on there, all right, yeah, that's something.
Got to get on that.
I need to do that. And the sticky notes just say all sorts of just some of them they're just code or something. Some of them clean your room, unpack your stuff, get it together. Motivational things. Get your life together. And then I go on my computer immediately because I need to. I'm feeling hurt and thirsty and upset. And so I sit down on my computer and take another sticky note off of the screen, which is pick up the glass off the floor. And I'm like, no. And I start typing.
Okay.
Because there's just glass on the floor, and my room's a disaster.
Okay.
Unpacked boxes and shit. There's glass on the floor. I'm just like, no, not right now. And I start typing.
Okay. Are you typing an email? What are you typing?
I am going to log in, and I'm going to start searching my databases, much like the first time, in order to find someone who is vulnerable in their home.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. Everyone else do some stuff. I'm thirsty.
Gotcha. Okay, so Madison, you are taking care of business when you hear the door open from the outside, and you sort of poke your head out to check, and you see Alex just covered in ash and nonsense walking into the haven.
I'm glad you're not dead.
I'm likewise glad. Thank you.
What the fuck happened?
A building burned down on me.
Right, I know. Wait, on you? You weren't there.
I woke up in the basement. There was ash everywhere. And an old lady told me about a stag god that is going to destroy us all. Can I take a shower?
Yeah. Sure.
Cool.
Don't mind the hole in the ceiling.
He looks up at the hole in the ceiling. Huh. And then he goes and takes a shower.
Noted.
Fucking Malkavians.
Once he's clean, he'll come back out wearing something a little bit more presentable.
Okay.
And he'll just sort of get behind his table and start spinning something introspective, slow, bassy.
I dig it. All right, Cadence. You find your way to the location. It's a small house, like sort of buried deep in the district. Not the one that you were at previously. And you head to the door and are greeted by Trayvon. He says, "Come on in. What do you need?"
Funny thing happened last night.
Okay.
So, yeah, remember that thing where you said that you were gonna find someone to do some tire slashing?
Yeah. I got one of my cousin's kids to do it.
Ah,
Haven't
okay.
haven't heard back from him. What happened?
So was there any way that my actual name got mixed up in all of this?
No, I didn't tell him shit. I just gave him the target. What?
Cause this full concrete-filled slash tires smashed a hole right through my roof last night.
Whoa. Hold. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the actual fuck?
I don't fucking know, man. I didn't say shit. It was just a job for one of my kids.
Okay, well, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's currently scattered across several dumpsters because he was, like, in the concrete and just fucking exploded when he hit a floor.
I need to make a roll.
I can't believe you said that to him. Oh, shit. Oh,
Cadence is an honest woman.
Indeed,
yeah,
she
you know
is.
what? 100%.
Really honest.
Holy shit.
He bears his fangs and they come out and he just crawls and says, "He's fucking dead."
This is the player pausing.
Okay.
Cadence would say, well, if he looked like, and then give a kind of a description based on what
What's
she was
left?
able to see.
Like you can see the beast behind his eyes. Like you can see the rage and the anger, and he picks up a pretty heavy chair and just throws it across the room. And like, "I'm gonna get that motherfucker."
Yeah, well, wouldn't we all like to? But apparently, even doing something just a fucking prank means.
I don't give a fuck what the Baron says. I'm going for that son of a bitch.
Okay.
No one fucks with my family. Thanks for letting me know. I'll take care of this.
Oh, hold the phone. Hold the phone. And she's gonna try to not grab him suddenly, but sort of like move between him and the door.
Mm-hmm.
And
He lets you, but it's very clear that he's letting you get in his way. Like, what?
That's okay. I hate that I'm saying this. I absolutely fucking hate that I'm saying this, but that is a bad fucking idea right this moment. Okay?
Like,
trust me, I feel you on the one end, protect your family, but I really feel you, and sorry, I was a little on edge, but listen, if he can figure out that I was the one who had that idea, then on nothing, then you marching off and trying to do something stupid is probably going to turn out even worse. And then who's going to be around to protect your family?
I would like for you to give me a charisma persuasion roll.
Come on, persuade him not to
Yeah, no.
fucking go out and get himself killed.
Okay. That's 2.
2 successes. All right. He calms down. He's like, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But this can't go unanswered. This is a totally inappropriate. This is a totally fucked up escalation of this."
I know, like, okay, someone slashes your tires and maybe you go out, you egg their car or smash the windows or something like that. This was a level above.
I am so sick of this Camarilla bullshit. This fucking truce bullshit.
Well, hopefully it won't be for much longer.
All right. I need to talk to some of my boys. We need to figure something out. You should probably get gone.
All right, but like I said, don't do anything stupid and be fucking smart.
I will. I will. It's all right. It's all right. We're gonna take care of this though.
All right. She knows she's not going to make any more headway here, so she's going to bow out.
Okay. Willow, you are able to find like there's an apartment complex nearby. I just like for you to give me a quick dexterity stealth roll. For include your hunger dice.
Oh yes.
And your break-in specialty will apply. And we'll just see how that goes.
Okay. One, two, three, four. 110.
110, 4 successes.
Yes.
Yeah, you're able to make your way into a first floor apartment, and find like some early bed folk, and
My favorite.
yeah, and you are able to get this. You're able to slake your hunger. Do you? How much of your hunger do you slake?
Is it just one person or is it like a couple?
It's a couple.
I'll take one from each. I'll sip on a little bit and then sneak around the bed, go to the other one, and then just sort of leave much like I did the first time.
Yeah, you're able to do that.
Making a note that, I should come back here.
Yeah, I mean, like it's an elderly couple, so but yeah, like, and they even have like the separate beds.
I think to myself, this must be a Georgia thing. What?
It's a southern thing.
Oh,
Yeah, so you take care of that, and then where are you going from there?
from here. So I know that we had been in contact with some of the thin bloods we've been harboring.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we keeping? like, what's the deal with those guys? What's been up with them?
Yeah, I mean, Madison's been mostly taking care of that, but they've been sort of directed to places where they can get havens, and they've been sort of given the rundown of, you know, try only to feed, a couple of times a week. Don't really don't go overboard. If you need help, then contact you guys to get it, so that you can keep kind of an eye on things. Um, they're mostly grateful for your assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're confused. They don't really know what's going on. They don't really know a lot about what it is to be a kindred.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can probably get some information and check in on them if you want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in because after she gets in her car and everything, she's just like she thinks about the sticky note she wrote that morning. It's like, yeah, no, that's really important.
Hmm.
And so she wants to learn a little bit more about these thin bloods to see if maybe she can um, utilize any sort of skills they have in an idea she has for body disposal.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so there's a couple of groups of them. Like you've sort of grouped them up into a couple of like you've kind of made some ad hoc coteries of them because you're like,
Okay.
hey, sticking together is probably a really good idea. So you think one of them is probably a bit more of the criminal variety.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you are able to get in contact with them, and they basically let you know. Like you basically float that concept to them briefly,
Mm-hmm.
and they say that they can probably put some thought on it and see what they can do. I mean, they're having to solve similar problems themselves from time to time.
Yeah.
So they let you know that they're gonna get back to you
Yeah.
when they
We can
can.
like set up a meeting because I have an idea for a tapatia that we can
Okay,
set up, and then if other people need to use that space, they can use that space.
gotcha.
And I would
Okay.
be more than happy to let him use a building as a haven.
Hmm.
So like I'll
Sure.
set up a meeting with one so I
Yeah,
can,
you get the sensation that that's gonna take a little bit of work because they're very
have a lot
cagey.
going on.
They're very cagey. They got a lot going on. Like they just had to relocate from wherever they were into this new
Yeah.
part of the city. Um, but Cadence, I'm gonna come back to Cadence real quick. You come back to the Haven, and you see Alex is there, spinning, and Madison is working on working on his computer and working on emails. Uh, and that's what you see when you come in.
She looks a little relieved seeing that Alex is there, and she's just gonna give him a wave. And she is going to go over to Madison and say, I talked to the Edgewood guys. They didn't snitch. It was, I guess, just an assumption that was made and happened to be correct.
I think they might not have heard that last part.
Uh-oh, Madison, you.
Yeah, I'm having some trouble hearing you, unfortunately. I'm not sure
Oh,
why.
okay.
Yeah, same.
You just put it closer to your mouth, yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah. I
That
mean,
does sound better, yeah.
yeah, I can hear you, but it's kind of going in and out.
All right.
But anyway, yeah. So I think she said that you want to repeat what you said, Cadence.
Yeah, she goes over to Madison and she says, so I went over and talked to the Edgewood guys, and they didn't snitch. I guess the sheriff just happened to make an unluckily correct assumption.
I find that a little hard to believe, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, I
Seems
don't know. They're
incredibly
about to do
unlikely.
something colossally stupid, so if
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, no, the I guess the kid in the concrete is related to one of them, and now they're like out for blood. So I told them not to do anything stupid, but they're probably gonna do it. So.
What do you mean, the kid in the concrete?
The
Right.
hole in
Yeah,
our
we haven't
ceiling-
gotten to that yet.
Yeah. So the hole in the ceiling that Madison is being so nice about patching up.
Yeah.
Well, I may have suggested that someone slash the sheriff's tires, and he returned those tires filled with concrete and a very, very dead kid via sky.
Huh. Huh.
It's the
Huh.
hole.
That's not great.
No.
All right.
No, it's not.
Alex, I'd like you to roll wits plus aspects for me, please.
I can do that. I have both of those things. With what he calls it, hunger race?
Oh yes.
Oh, okay. I don't like the way you said that. And roll. 2 successes.
Okay, I need to make a quick roll real quick. Okay, you don't notice anything.
Oh, fun.
Continue.
So yeah. So
you're saying
right.
he didn't snitch, and the sheriff just dropped these tires on us on the assumption that it was your fault that this young man decided to attack his car?
That seems highly unlikely. Do you have a T-shirt that says "I'm likely to attack the sheriff's car" or any sort of thing like that?
Well, considering he did beat the shit out of me outside our haven, and I was screaming bloody murder at him as he drove away, if someone were to slash his tires in the wake of that, it makes sense that it would be the person who he most recently beat up.
It's true.
I mean,
Well,
that's the assumption I would make.
He might not have even talked with the boy.
To be truly fair, though, you can't really work on the assumption that you're the most recent person who beat up.
That's very true.
But I do see your point, though. Yeah.
All right, so things are settled with the Edgewood coterie?
Between me and them, yes. Between them and the sheriff, probably not.
Well, that's unfortunate, but they will have quite a time convincing the Baron to sign off on any sort of revenge plot, I think.
Assuming they actually ask him. I get the feeling they probably won't, but...
That's not going to do.
Nope.
There's a lot of things that don't seem to be really doing.
Well, that's what makes it fun, right? If everything was going well, we'd just be the Camarilla.
Right. Also, I don't think that I can put too fine a point on it, but a stag god is going to destroy the world. But please continue.
Is that a literal thing, or is that perhaps a metaphorical stag apocalypse?
Stag apocalypse? What?
So I feel like a few days ago I could have answered that question in a way that would be approximating something like accuracy. But as of tonight, awaking under a pile of ash and lumber, I don't know.
I think I'm missing some important context here.
Alex had a vision.
Oh, so it's a fun night for everyone. Great.
And there's an old woman, and she... Never mind. Do your thing.
I'm going to motion that we table the stag apocalypse investigation just until it's less ephemeral.
I second that motion, I guess.
So
I'll continue to put resources into it, and if I come up with anything, I will let you know.
Right. Then we can save the world.
Willow, if you'd like to show up now, I think that's an appropriate amount of time.
Oh, most definitely.
Right.
I pull up after I fed and everything, after I sat in my car and tried to get into contact with everyone. I pull up in my car, I park, I turn off my self-help my self-help podcast, which just tells me like really positive things, like I could do anything I put my mind to, and I turn it off. I grab my big map of Atlanta, and then like those roadside maps you buy at like
Mm-hmm.
gas stations and stuff. I have one.
Okay.
Right, and I come out and I go into the Haven, and I just open the door. Hello, I'm
Oh,
here.
good timing.
Oh, hi.
I look up at the ceiling.
It will be fixed soon.
Oh,
There were tires, and
Oh,
She was
she
there.
knows.
She was there.
you're probably gonna have to pay someone off because I'm sure this place is filthy with asbestos.
Probably.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay the contractors to shut up about it.
I'm sure I can figure out some way to persuade them.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a map here, and I wanted to ask Alex about his opinion on something, because you're a local, Alex, right?
I am, yes.
Okay. So I take my big map, and I just like sort of unfold it and put it on the table. Okay. So I know that this is what we own, and I like take out like some eyeliner, and I like circle Cabbage Town. All right. So I know that we own this, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in Georgia, do you guys like have tapatías or like meat markets and stuff? Is that a thing that like people in Georgia do?
Certainly, yeah.
Okay, well, where here is a place that maybe isn't in Cabbage Town, but is in like contested territory that we could put one?
You could probably put one. In our own neighborhood, it would not be terribly out of sorts to see one there.
Okay.
As far as contested areas, I mean, really everywhere. Atlanta has quite the foodie scene, if you will.
Well, I was just wondering, because if it's in like weirdly contested territory, we can go to, if it's another anarch, to them and suggest to share this sort of thing as like an olive branch. What I'm saying is I want a place that sells meat that we can dispose of bodies in. I'm sorry. I should have said that first.
Oh, there's lots of places if you're looking for that sort of thing. I mean, there's butcheries, there's deer processing plants on the outskirts of Atlanta.
Oh.
Probably going to be your best bet.
All right. Well, I want one here and I want to own it.
I mean, we could certainly make that happen. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it inside of the city limits, but just outside, say, in Conyers or
The meat
Douglasville or
market?
something.
Well, what I want is, I mean, of course, I'll have someone run the meat market, but what I really want is that sterile stainless steel back room with a drain in the floor, to deal with the bodies. I mean,
There's
if
probably
there are any.
there's a halal meat market. There's also probably a kosher meat market. Those are probably going to be
Madison gets back on his computer during this conversation.
Okay.
those are probably going to be pretty close to what you're looking for.
Okay. Okay, well then I might consider buying one
Fair enough.
that's maybe struggling or
Yeah.
making my own. I'll do more research into it, but I mean, I wanted to ask. You've been here forever.
Sure.
Okay. And I start drawing stars on the map in like different places.
Nice.
Where did you guys what'd you guys do with the one that was here the other day, the body?
Dumpsters around, not near our haven.
Okay, good. All right.
Little pieces, nothing.
Little pieces.
You'd have to be like a
You
jigsaw fucking master.
Okay, you didn't throw away the pelvis, did you? You never throw away the pelvis.
It might be in a couple separate pieces.
Okay, good. Because if it's in one chunk, I mean, yeah.
Everything was pretty pulped by the time I was taking it apart. I don't think anything's intact.
Okay. That's good
Yeah,
then.
the pelvis, right.
Yeah, never keep the pelvis and easily identifiable. And I keep drawing on the map.
Wow. That's all I'm gonna say is wow.
So, aside from planning meat market acquisitions and fixing the roof and whatnot, do we have anything on the agenda for tonight?
No, I think we're.
No.
Well, I'd like to perhaps have a longer conversation with Sister Lynn.
Ooh, how's she been? Just in her
I haven't
room.
checked on her actually since this evening. I'll peek my head in now and see how she's doing.
She
Yeah.
is gone.
Oh.
How is she?
Not absent is how she is.
Well, did you expect anything less?
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
if I was her, I wouldn't want to be sighted near the place where people were trying to kill me before.
I suppose.
When you sort of investigate into her room a little further, you actually find a short note on her bed.
Oh, here we go.
And it just says, "I have to go."
Fair enough.
what does it? What?
He just holds it up. It's
So
like
what
something
clan-
out of a movie.
What clan was she? Do we know?
You believe she was Toreador, but you're not entirely certain.
Yes, my money's on Rose, but it's not 100% thing. It never is.
Fair enough.
So I guess we're done with that for now. There's no way or point really for us tracking her down other than to get information. So
Might run into her again.
I'm sure she'll make herself known.
Okay.
I'd like someone to make a wits insight roll for me, please.
I will try.
Gotta try.
I have those dices.
Got 3 successes.
Okay.
3 successes as well.
1 success.
Okay. Madison and Alex, when you're sort of pass the note between you, and you sort of notice something about the handwriting of it. It looks incredibly hasty, but still very precise. Like it was. There's a lot of pressure on the lines, but it's not messy at all. It seemed like something that was jotted out very quickly, and there's something about just the way it was written, like the small tears in the thing that make you think that there was some impetus, something more than just being a sneaky bitch. Something compelled her. Something was acting upon her when she wrote this note.
Huh. Okay. I'll sort of just kind of look over at Madison. We're both looking at it. Do you you see that?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
If I had to wager, I would assume that she has been called somewhere by one of great skill in the blood.
Probably.
If she is a rose, as I suspect, then that would mean she's likely known to other roses, perhaps her sire. I'll do some research.
My only thought is so it is suspicious to me that she would be summoned away so quickly after being reawakened by us.
Well, this was the first moment she was able to move under her own power for quite some time.
So you think it may have just been a lingering sort of summon?
A nascent sort of thing, yes. There's no way to tell for sure.
Fair enough. I'm not as familiar with the power as you, so that's terrifying.
I'm not personally familiar with it. But I know that it doesn't move one's legs if one's legs can't move. That much I do know. I'll do research, see if I can turn up anything about her lineage, her sire.
Okay. Very well.
I have a very weird feeling about this as well. I think it may be time for us to go visit. What's the name of the bar that all the anarchs hang out at, Scott?
The sort of the central area. It's Dead Channel.
I think it may be time for us to pay a visit to Dead Channel. Maybe go celebrate our the end of our season of servitude.
Oh, excellent! I've always really wanted to check that place out.
Yeah.
Well, you've been
I'm
there.
sure you're not familiar with it at all.
No, of course not.
Well, it's a nice place. You'll love it, and the owner is a stand-up guy.
So is that on the menu? Is that what you guys are going to be doing?
We don't really have any other hot leads unless someone else has another idea.
Well, if that's what we're doing, would you mind if I met you guys there? There's just a stop I want to make before we go do anything.
It's fine with me.
Well, what kind of bar is it?
Well, this is the bar that you guys were at when you first came into Atlanta. It's kind of a upscale cyberpunk themed cocktail bar basically.
It's fucking awesome is what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I struggle with bars. I didn't like it much the first time.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think we need to start making ourselves a little bit more known as a coterie. If you don't want to join, that's understandable, but
No, I better be a team player, and I don't want to have to clean up the glass in my room, so I'll go.
Right.
All right. I have a nicer jacket in my car.
Okay. All right, so the three of you head out together, and I believe Candace, what is this pit stop you're making?
She actually just wants to go check in on her brother quick.
Okay.
Seeing someone else lose a family member, she's like, okay, I should probably go say hi. And
yeah, he has a place in a small apartment complex nearby. I'm assuming you like text him and let you know that you want to meet up.
yeah, just be like, I'm coming over. Make sure the door's unlocked.
Okay. Yeah. He says, sure, come on over. You come in. He's got the piles that are associated with various side hustles that he's sort of appropriated space for in his small apartment. And he's like, well, "What's up, sis? How's it been? How's it been hanging?"
It's been. I just some shit went down recently. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Oh yeah, you know me. I'm keeping my nose clean.
Good.
Anything you need help with?
No, nothing I need help with. It's just,
Okay.
I gotta look out for you, so I'm looking out for you.
He's like, I gotta look out for you.
Yeah. Something like that.
He's like, all right. I mean, I'm doing good. I mean, you want backup? You want what you need?
Right now, just to know that you are very much not dead.
Oh yeah, no, still kicking. I'm gonna get a thermos pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not belabor the point because that's weird.
Mm-hmm. So opening day's coming up soon. I was thinking maybe I could stay here for a few days. We could watch the series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got a flat screen coming in. It's gonna be nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Man, you think how disappointing do you think the Sox are gonna be this season?
I mean, we did well last season. So...
Yeah, but you know what? There's curses, man. You don't just break it.
Listen, I need I need this right now. I really need this right now. So.
All right. They're gonna sweep it. All right.
Okay, good. All right, that's what I need to hear.
All right. Cool. Yeah. No. When opening day comes, well, opening night. I mean, yeah. We'll set it up.
Awesome. Alrighty. So I actually gotta. I'm actually on my way out to do some stuff. But yeah, no. I just wanted to check in, and if you need anything, just text.
Yeah. No problem. He
All right.
gives you kind of an awkward hug.
She just wraps her arms around him and gives him a quick, very tight squeeze, and then.
Okay.
All right, I'm going now. Don't do anything stupid while I'm not here.
I mean, you know me, doing stupid's kind of how my income stream works. So.
Yeah, true, but don't do anything that's more stupid than you normally do.
All right, I can handle that.
Okay.
All
She
right.
gives him a thumbs up and heads out.
So the three of you arrive in Chambly at Dead Channel. It's pretty pumping. It's a weekend night when you guys show up, and there's a lot of mortals around. The doorman knows all of you, and you are let in very easily. Alex, are you behoodied, or are you letting your presence known?
I'm definitely not letting my presence be known.
Okay, so you're going incognito as best you can. That's fine. But yeah, so there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of mortals. There's some, late 80s, early 90s EDM being pumped through the speakers. Lighting is, flickering and neon for the most part. And you clock a couple of familiar faces and faces that you are that you know by reputation, just sort of at various tables, and they clock you back.
Cool.
And you are seen and are acknowledged to be here. No one comes up and approaches you. It assumes everyone is here who's here on business will take care of their business forthcoming.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. So Madison's intention is just to kind of, once Cadence gets here, just kind of make it clear that the coterie is still around, that we have made it through our little trial period and we're, legit now, basically. Mm-hmm. And also to ask questions and feel out possible information about Lynn and her sire, as well as to just sort of, he's really trying to frame the coterie as the next big thing, right? Like he's definitely trying to make clear that they've succeeded at more than they've failed at in the last 3 months, and that they don't plan on stopping that, and that people should probably get on the train or get off the tracks.
Okay. So yeah, Cadence does show up pretty soon after you all. So what I want to know from the coterie as a whole is everyone pretty much on board with Madison's plan for what you guys are here to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
To posture? Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. So what I'd like from everyone is I would like just something that you do in this club to further that goal. Give me a specific action that you take to either in cooperation with one another or individually to cement this idea in the crowd.
For my part, I'm going to flex my intellectual muscles and just kind of drop in conversation interaction inferences to my troublingly categorical knowledge of the political landscape of the Anarchs and the Camarilla and the Sabbat in the area.
Okay.
Just make it very clear that Madison is a person who sees a lot and knows a lot.
Okay. All right. I would like for you to roll charisma plus politics, and you can include your Anarch status on that. Does anyone else have an idea about what they're doing?
Cadence is probably going to probably not socialize directly with anyone, but just try to like stand like near-ish, probably Madison, and just look grumpy and angry, and like, you know, anyone who tries to mess with me is not going to have a very good day.
So in my in some of the various games that I've played in, this is actually a well-established role. It's known
Oh.
it's known as the unspoken threat. So what I'd like from you is a resolve intimidation roll.
Okay. Station.
And you can add your anarch status onto it as well.
Okay, which is
You have one dot of
one.
anarch, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I was scrolling down because I had to see what I actually put.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be 4.
Nice. Madison, did you make your roll?
I also got 4.
4 successes. Okay. Willow, what are you up
So.
to here?
So, Scott,
Mhm.
in my lore sheet, one of the things that I do have is a 3-dot Maula for Anarch causes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I can be approached by someone, and like could talk about LA.
Okay.
You know, it's the scene I'm from. I'm very knowledgeable about that, and I ran with a lot of kind of important people.
Yeah. You actually let's see. So you're basically name dropping and like flexing on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like from you is a charisma plus. Let's go persuasion roll on this.
Would my
Your
lore sheet give me anything for this?
Yeah, I'll let you add your Mwala since you're name dropping there.
Name dropping Daddy Garcia.
Oh yes,
Or
absolutely.
Tio Garcia.
Tio Garcia, that's absolutely right.
All
right. And
7, 6, 8, 10.
Nice. And you know that like this is some name dropping of this variety is something that you probably shouldn't do all the time. Just because reputation is a scarce resource.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you do that, and people actually come up to you pretty easily. Like once you start like letting it know where you're from and drop a couple of names, a couple of people like come up to you and ask you, and like they start trading a couple of rumors because apparently shit's going down in LA.
When is it not?
Yeah, like apparently they're like the cam is moving in hard to LA, and like just basically trying to steamroll over the free states, and there's like some apparently there's this big pushback. There's this hot shot new voice called Annabelle who is just like really putting the business down. So yeah, and like they traded image, and like they're like so you successfully name drop and give that impression of being super connected to the movement as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex,
yo,
what are you gonna? How are you gonna pull this off?
Somebody remind me what the goal is again.
We're trying to flex.
Oh, just to be like show how cool we are.
Yeah, we're trying to make ourselves seem like the hottest shit this side of wherever.
Oh, cool. I'm just gonna take my hood off.
All right. Okay. So you're just basically gonna be yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go talking to everybody about like it's kind of showing like some of the stuff that Madison has done and how like I think Madison is pretty damn cool, and I'm just gonna pretty much follow Madison. He's a cool guy. I like him.
Okay. All right. Let's
give your
go.
Celebrity endorsement.
Yeah. Give your celebrity.
I am literally celebrity endorsing him. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and make me a charisma persuasion roll.
I have those items on my sheet.
And I will let you add. Let's see. Your fame isn't super applicable right in this situation because it's fame amongst the mortals.
Right.
But I will let you add a dot of your fame to this roll.
Very cool.
Just
Very
because
cool.
you
One
are
success.
you are a well-known. Okay. All right. So it looks like So Willow's doing her thing. It looks like Alex and Cadence are kind of backing up Madison. So with the rolls that the three of you have made, and with like Alex and Willow sort of coming at it from another angle, you definitely think that you guys have made an impression here tonight. Like you think that you have, people have heard about some of the stuff that you've been doing. Like a lot of them have been in sort of like side contact with y'all regarding the thin-blooded situation. So you sort of like cement a few of those like contacts and conversations, and you definitely put yourself forward. Specifically, someone comes up to you, Madison. Um, it's a woman, short, very stockily built. Like she's clearly got a lot of muscle on her. She's got sort of like really dark black, brown skin, like short cropped cornrows, and she just introduces herself and says, "It's good to finally put a face to it." She's like, I'm Anita from over by Agnes Scott.
Oh, a pleasure to meet you in person as well.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about you guys.
All good, I hope.
I mean, I've been hearing a lot.
We wouldn't be great anarchs if it was all good, I suppose.
You guys should come by. There's some stuff that we need to talk about.
I actually intended to drop a line your way sometime soon, so that's quite convenient. When would you like to meet?
He says, why don't you come by next weekend?
I think we can do that.
He says, she looks over to Cadence and say, been hearing a lot about you, too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Not sure how, well, not something I kind of want to talk about here, but maybe you should cover your tracks a little bit better. I'm not trying to threaten you here. I'm saying you've raised some attention, and not just from our side of things.
Oh, no, I gotcha. I gotcha. We'll get it sorted out.
Okay. She says she basically hands you a card, Madison, and says, "See you there."
Looking forward to it.
All right, and we're gonna go ahead and take our break.
Nice.
So we will see everyone back in a couple of minutes while we engage the facilities. See you soon, everybody.
Yeah.
And we're back. Thank you, everyone, for indulging our needs as humans. So you are able to sort of establish a presence in Dead Channel, and you make some good contacts with the various anarchs that are there. You are also sort of on the back end asking about Sister Lynn. I believe that was sort of a secondary objective. So you already kind of cased the joint regarding this, and you kind of get the impression that you got what information was sort of on the surface level when you first asked about her. So I would like a wits subterfuge roll from someone who wants to try and maybe sneak out a little bit more information regarding that.
I've got
I'm gonna
4
give
on
that
this.
one to
Has anybody got a better roll than me?
I've got 4 as well, so I mean I can try, but I won't be any better than you.
I also
Does
have
status
4.
apply to this?
Hmm?
Does
Yeah,
status-
you can add your status to it.
Okay, so I have 6 then.
Okay, make it.
No. My roll wouldn't
Yep,
be
all
good
you,
if
bud.
guys keep going.
3 successes.
Okay. So you kind of ask it in a bit more indirect manner this time around to try and maybe sneak some information out. And you get a very quick conversation with someone who basically lets you know, because you're asking about her sire and whatnot. And she says like, yeah, I think she was with her sire and his group up in Vinings for a while, but then something bad happened between them about 5 years ago. I don't know much about it.
This group up in Vinings, is it a coterie?
He's like, they're a coterie. They kind of keep to themselves though. They're anarchs, but they also have their own thing going on.
Oh well, who doesn't, right?
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable talking more about them.
No, and I appreciate what you have already elucidated for me. Just trying to figure out where I should stay out of. You know what I mean?
You're like, I mean, I wouldn't say stay out of Vinings, but weird shit happens there.
Fair enough. Well, I need to meet back up with my coterie, but thanks very much.
Yeah, man. You keep safe, man.
Take it easy, man.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah. So unless anyone has anything specific that they want to accomplish here at the channel, we can fast forward a little bit and get some good stuff taken care of. So over the next week or so, and of course during that week you do sort of cross over from your season of obligation during that week, which means that you are no longer under compulsion to respond to the Baron's requests for assistance. Of course, you still may make them, and but you will not suffer any undue consequences for refusing.
Mm-hmm.
And you are within your rights to attempt to either relocate your domain or seek additional domain. But that is up to the vagaries of territory, which there's a basic system for disputes of that nature, but it's very loose and catch as catch can. There's not a lot of formality to the process of getting new domain or expanding or relocating. But
yeah, I definitely think it's best if we stay where we're at, but I wouldn't mind possibly adding more later.
We have a pretty bulletproof justification if anyone tries us to accuse us, since we are so magnanimously housing almost a dozen Thin Bloods now. I've been working for a while, Dylan says abstractly, on some areas of the city that are adjacent to us and far enough from the other coterie lines that I believe we can make a legally secure claim on them. And I've got a separate set of ones that we can make a legally insecure claim on if you all are feeling like rolling the dice.
Okay.
He unfurls a map with information that I assume I need to roll to verify the validity of.
Sure. Do you, Dylan, have any specific areas of the city in mind, or how are we going to go?
I am geographically deficient when it comes to any part of Atlanta other than my house.
Gotcha. Okay. So why don't you tell me the type of area that you are interested in?
He's really looking for square footage.
Okay.
Like, this isn't I want more hospitals or whatever. This is, we literally just need more space.
Okay.
Because we have 10 extra fucking kindred to make sure stay fed.
Okay.
So he's just really looking for like, okay, well, there's these 2 blocks here in an L shape that are pretty safely away from those guys. We can totally just tack those on. Nobody's going to give a shit. He pretty much just canvases the immediate vicinity of Cabbage Town to just look for those kind of Tetris pieces of extra territory that could be claimed safely.
Unfortunately, your Cabbage Town, Reynolds Town is actually pretty hemmed in. You've got some pretty heavy cam presence to the northwest, and then you've got Edgewood to your direct east. And then of course there's Oakwood to the south, and then to the west, and then south of I-20. So you're actually there's not a lot of room to move out from where you are, unless you want to start infringing on other people's claimed territory.
Are there any relatively ripe areas that are like on the other side of the things that are hemming us in, like things to work towards?
Yeah, we can take a look. Let me
because the other thing Madison is totally willing to do is to, like any good Ventrue, incorporate. That's another strategy for this.
Sure. Let me bring up my handy dandy map of Atlanta.
Especially if some mouthy Bruja out in Edgewood gets himself killed fighting something way above his pay grade.
I mean, that would be like the most. So yeah, probably the close, like the district beyond Edgewood is Kirkwood, which there's various interests in that area. Like people have like little places there, but no one has the district in total. You can maybe take a look at that as far as what's going on there, and then you've got Parkview, which is a little bit more to the south of that of Kirkwood, which has a couple of golf courses.
I like golf.
Yeah. It's got two big golf courses.
Sorry, that's a Ventrue thing. I don't even know what happened. Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that. Those are the two areas that are sort of closest. No one, and like I said, both of those are. I wouldn't call them open. Like people have interests in those areas, but it's no one's capital D domain.
Right. So, according to the survey that I've established here, we're not really going to be able to do much staying here unless we are able to break out of our immediate vicinity. And the easiest way to do that would be through Edgewood.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, I have no desire to start a gang war with the Coterie and Edgewood. They seem reasonable enough. But
it does seem reasonable to me.
I do think that there are operations we could undertake that would make it advantageous to them to join hands with us, so to speak.
Do you want to put the body disposal in a convenient locations for both parties to take advantage of?
That would be one particular bargaining chip. Cadence, you've interacted with them more than anyone else.
Yeah.
What do you think they need?
Can I actually make a roll for that because the player is drawing a blank?
Sure. Let me take a look about what would be most appropriate. Give me a intelligence streetwise roll.
Okay. That's 2.
2 successes. Like, yeah, they're criminals. I mean, they're very much like a criminal gang that just all happen to be vampires. That seems to be their sort of modus operandi. They're very much living a similar life to the ones that they were in their breathing days. So they don't have a lot in the way of connection to or ability to maneuver outside of that fairly narrow purview.
Okay.
they've got like the local cops like on lockdown, but as far as like the Atlanta PD, they don't have a lot going on
Okay.
there. Like they've got
So
you think that they have like the beat cops in their area like either intimidated or bloodbound to them but they don't have a lot in the way of like larger influence.
okay, so Madison's connection's definitely something that they could potentially use.
That-
Like many
And she'll-
small-time gangs, they operate in the microcosm. They're not big-time, big-scale
Mhm.
movers and shakers.
And that also means that they have little experience in conflict with other types of kindred.
Okay.
Like their experience is very limited. Like they bust heads with the Sabbat pretty regularly, but that's pretty much the level of their capacity to go up against another group of kindred.
Okay. So here's what I think. I think that at least one member of that coterie is damn pissed the sheriff killed someone he cared about. But I also know that they don't have a rat's chance of actually accomplishing any sort of revenge. But we're here to shake things up, and they're not happy with the truce between the Baron and the Cams. We're not happy with the truce between the Baron and the Cams. You got a lot more sway, Madison, in the political regard than any of people like me and them do. So being on good terms with us, working with us, having similar sympathies in regards to the truce, I think we can work that angle a bit.
So
No.
here's what I propose.
Mhm.
I think we offer to help them with their beef.
Mhm.
And in exchange, we combine our domains with our coterie holding primary authority in the area. Does that seem like the sort of thing that has a rat's chance in hell of even being discussed civilly with the Edgewood coterie?
I think so. Because I think as long as they get to keep their peace, their hustles, their schemes, their turf, if we don't touch their everyday operations, it's not going to affect their lifestyle all that much.
I am inclined to agree. In fact, if anything, they'll probably be more profitable with a higher scale perspective.
All right. I can try to pitch it to them. I can't promise it'll go well given obvious tensions, but I can pitch it to them.
And multiple members of this coterie are respected in the movement for what it's worth, and that will help our sway, I think. Scott, is there a role to know the status of other anarchs, or is that just a thing you know?
I would say that if it's in question, it would be some sort of politics role.
The key thing I want to know is the Edgewood coterie. Do any of them have particular standing within the movement?
Give me an intelligence politics roll.
Oh no!
I know.
4 successes.
4 successes. All of them have like a base level of standing with the movement. Like they are no slouches when it comes to defending their turf, particularly from the Sabbat, and that has earned them a pretty solid amount of esteem for that purpose. But as far as like the movement as a whole, they're pretty small time. So they have the respect that an ass kicker gets, but
no infamy, but no particular status either.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, everyone, that's my pitch. I think we should massage it a little bit, but I think it's got legs, and if we want to really shake things up, try to get some forward movement, get some more resources under our belt so that we can actually do something about some of the more embedded problems
Yeah.
with the movement here in the city, that this is the way forward.
I definitely do vote for a merger. We have a lot we can mutually offer each other. I don't think. Well, Scott, in this part of town, is there like a lot of gang activity?
Yeah,
Is Cabbage Town like a how many
Cabbage
stop shot signs are shot out? Let's be real.
Cabbage Town and Reynoldstown not so much.
So then, yeah.
But Edgewood and Kirkwood and those areas are a bit more rowdy.
Okay.
It's not like there are certainly hotter areas of the city than where you are, but between the two zones, Edgewood, Kirkwood, there's a bit more crime going on there.
Okay.
Your because of your proximity to downtown and like the federal buildings, there's and also a lot of the work that you guys have been doing. Your area is pretty good.
Okay. She says we have a lot to offer them around here. Well, I mean, in my experience, having a gang on the street is never a bad thing.
And if there's one thing that I think this particular group of folks here is a little bit skewed towards, it's more big time, large scale eyes and not so much eyes on the street. I can only be so many places in a night.
Exactly.
And to be quite honest with, this talk of expanding, I just, it makes me happy that it's going to be with other people who can keep eyes on the street so I don't have to patrol 3 times as many back alleys when I go out every night.
There have been many empires who crumbled because they didn't have the power to control their holdings. And I would not want us to become such a thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Alex.
I mean, yeah, I suspect that we're going to have some trouble getting another Anarch gang to merge territories with us, but it's worth a try.
Not merge territories, at least be okay working together to start.
That, I think, is a better way of saying it. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use the language merger.
That's too corporate.
Specifically.
That's certainly the starting point.
Also, from my limited interactions with that particular gang, they're dumber than a bag of hammers. So,
Totally.
I do think that it's very important that we keep a close check on the language that we use.
They're my type of people. I can do this.
So
no, not you. You're brilliant.
What you were saying? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying when she said that they were her type of people, it was very important to me that she understood that she's brilliant. They are not her type of people.
No, we speak the same language.
Oh, right. And I'm always confused as to what exactly that language is.
So
the Thin Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
That's my other concern. We have been quite generous to them, and I'm happy to do that. But I think that it may be time for us to start putting the infrastructure in place to have them give back to our domain.
Yep.
Specifically, keeping eyes on the street, building their own smaller scale networks of influence and contacts. There are plenty among them who are capable. They require education and support. And I've been denied that by the Sabbat and the Camarilla, but I would show them that the movement, and specifically our coterie, is not going to make that mistake. Are we all agreed that this is an acceptable way to move forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
And is there anyone in particular who feels a yearning in their heart to be closely connected to this project, or shall I add it to my ledger?
Well, if you want eyes on the street, then, I guess I'm going to have to be involved at least somewhat. That's my bag. Do I look forward to having a bunch of noobs stuck on my tail? No, but it needs to get done.
Well, we all have our own special little something to teach these poor, unfortunate souls, so you won't be alone in that part.
I'm relatively decent at handling social interactions, so if you need me, I can assist. But I think that it's probably best that you take lead on this project.
Wonderful. I love leading things.
Ah, the burden of leadership of the clan Ventrue. Forever the pillar of whatever sect they happen to be. Such a responsibility it
Heavy is the head.
Heavy is the
Oh,
Poor Madison.
indeed. So, over the next couple of nights, you guys sort of start building the framework of this. Willow, you find a place. It's a kosher. No, it's not a kosher. It's not this area. It's a carniceria. Is probably the what you can find here, in Reynoldstown, sort of on the edge of Reynoldstown and Edgewood. That you are able to sort of back alley do a cash infusion on, and thus get significant controlling interest in.
Yep.
It's not, you don't think that, it's not to the degree that you can just start funneling bodies through this place every night, but
Oh no.
you have your finger on the scale of this place, and if you need to take stronger control, you can.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
As long as I can like call them on the phone and be like, "Hey, no one's working there at night today. Yeah, just make sure the back room is clean."
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the level that you have right now. But you can put your foot on the gas a little harder if you need to.
Yeah.
Especially if like other gangs are going to start using this place. Cadence, you are able to. I'm going to say that you don't like actually broach the subject with them, but you're able to sort of keep in close contact with the Edgewood guys.
What you would probably do would just be like sort of drop hints that her coterie is there to shake things up, and they're not happy with the truce between that the Cameron and the Baron have, and let them come to the conclusion that maybe we're people they want to be in with.
All right, I
think it's their idea.
I'm gonna need a manipulation subterfuge roll for that.
I am happy to do that. Let me see here.
You can add your anarch status to that.
That's 3.
Okay, yeah. You think that you've been subtle enough in that to sort of laying the groundwork with that. There's been you guys are able to do a couple interactions with the Thin Bloods in your domain. Actually, you after a little bit, it actually seems like Alex is a really good person for this because a lot of them know you.
Right.
Like a lot of them, like, you know, have been at your shows, and like they're like, "Holy fuck, you're a fucking vampire, man!" That's like that. They're.
Yeah. Well, we don't normally use that terminology, but yeah, I suppose that's
like,
not inaccurate entirely.
You're able to sort of leverage some starstruckness with a good chunk of them, whereas Madison, you're able to provide more back end support for that, and you start getting them together. You start with the education process. You know, I assuming like a rundown of the traditions and why some of them are okay and some of them are bullshit, and how you get around it. The Masquerade is
staying alive as a kindred 101.
Yeah, the Masquerade is fucking important.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing.
And there's definitely a thread all the way through it of like, we see that you guys have worth, unlike those other guys. That's just kind of inbuilt to the whole thing. But beyond that, it's pretty valid education. Like,
okay, yeah, and they lap it up. They want to know more, and they want to you get the sensation that their life was pretty bad down south of 20. And they some of them heard some stuff like a couple of them you think had some Camarilla propaganda at some point, but you're able to disabuse them of that pretty easily. It's like not like they would let them in anyway. But yeah, so there's a lot of groundwork being led towards this plan, a lot of support and a lot of framework. And so the week goes by. I'd like everyone to give me 2 rouse checks, please.
Okay.
Oh boy,
Just
that will be fun.
passage of time.
Fantastic.
Failed both.
All right.
Okay.
I failed one, passed the other, so I'm up to
Madison has been
3.
working so hard on this vampire college thing that he just hasn't had time to eat.
Look, I mean, you want your vampire college to be accredited, right?
Yeah, of course.
Knackles credited.
Okay, so what was the result for everybody?
1 fail, 1 success.
I'm still at 1.
Okay.
2 fails, so I'm at 3.
Oh shit, you're getting there. Okay.
I'm also at 3.
Gotcha. Okay. So week goes by, and you guys have a sort of a tentative meeting with the Anita and her friends from the Post-Life Women's Collective over by Agnes Scott. So does anyone want to take care of personal business before that meeting?
I think I'm just going to ride out the 2 hunger.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay, noted.
She knows that she's again the cause of this, so she's not going to be the cause of any more, or hopefully try not to be the cause of any more shenanigans. At least it can be resolved by not being hungry.
Cool. All right. So let's see.
I'm definitely eating before any kind of meeting.
Okay, so you're gonna also get something. So we're gonna resolve this via the nice handy rules that they've given us for quick and dirty feeding.
Quick and dirty, baby.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I would like a strength brawl roll from you, Cadence.
All right. Can I add my grappling specialty since that
You
is,
most
from my alley cat predator
You most
type?
certainly can.
Thank you.
And a manipulation persuasion from Madison there. And
I
of
have
course,
3 successes.
of course, include your hunger dice. Basically, we're rolling to see if something fucked up happens.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Yeah, both of you are able to Cadence. You basically find a trash collector. That's going that's sort of getting out of the way in the early pre-dawn light, and you just take care of him. Madison, you actually call up that girl from the bar that you talked to a couple of weeks ago, and you talk about art for a little bit, and then how do you sell it?
Ooh.
You are a consensualist, and that is.
So he plays the gentle soul card, right? Like that's his style. He's very gentlemanly and very intellectual. And then once he's got their interest and things are starting to get heavier, he just breaks out okay, listen, got this weird thing that I'm into, but I promise you how to do it.
Sounds like my Saturday nights.
So you pass it off as a kink, basically.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's cool. All right, yeah, and she's GGG. She's good. She's down for it. And obviously it's a fun time for her. But I'm assuming that neither of you take the final drop from your victims. Gotcha. Okay.
And like a good consensualist archetype vampire, I do provide aftercare.
Nice. Hey, maybe eat a steak.
Hey, here's
glass
a
of
leaf
orange
of
juice.
spinach.
Nice. All right. So yeah. So you guys take care of your needs, and a time and a place is arranged for you guys to go meet with this other group of anarchs. It's close to the college. It's basically it's a collection of townhomes. Like it's a row of 4 townhomes that are all connected to each other. And they have sort of a shared courtyard in the back, in behind the buildings. And you are invited in and led to kind of a communal meeting space where there is 4 other kindred. There's Anita, who's this short black woman, and a few others who I will name if they become important. But basically, once you're inside and like once the doors are closed, the image that Anita presents to you falls away, and she's like, her face is just this sort of maggot-eaten, terrible thing.
Nice.
And like her skin is like sloughing off in places, and she's just not pleasant to look at. But
She does not seem pleasant to look at. I agree.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like do this as a flex on y'all. She's just like, this is who I am, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
It's the equivalent
I'm
of
not.
taking your shoes off.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. It's like you're in my house. This is how I do.
Exactly. So you're all
Yep.
seated. There's sort of the I'd offer you a drink, but kind of patter that goes along. And she says, thank you all for coming. I appreciate a sit down. Heard some, like I said, I heard some good things about you and your group here. I'm just gonna come right out with it. What are you guys up to? Willow, what are you up to? What are you here for?
Me in particular.
Or your
suppose I'm
coterie.
here to- We're here to extend a bit of an olive branch.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Is there anything that you feel like in your territory you're lacking in?
We've been where we are for a while. We're good. We mostly don't.
You're comfortable.
I wouldn't say we're comfortable. We have special interests, special circumstances that we have to deal with in our domain. We're not the only people who have interests in Agnes Scott and its surroundings.
Okay. It's contested then.
Yes and no. It's not contested amongst other kindred.
Ooh.
I got an idea.
Yes, Cadence, yes. There are a couple of interests that we have to tiptoe around. We have what I would call a satisfactory understanding with these people, but if there's ever small problems tend to become bigger problems if they're not managed.
Okay, so I'll admit
literally,
that,
in the case of who you're talking about.
I definitely feel like I'm missing something. Can you not tiptoe around it? What are you
Sure.
talking
You
about?
got werewolves.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Smaller
Yeah.
problems becoming bigger problems, you see.
Yeah,
All right.
there's these hardcore motherfucking bitches called the Black Furies. That they've staked a claim around here as well. And that's not the only problem. There's fucking witches too.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a thing.
fucking witches.
Interesting.
So,
And yeah.
how are
So
you keeping these problems at bay currently?
we have a system, uh, and we have places that we go and places that we don't go. And if there's ever any inkling that there might be any kind of conflict or interaction, there's a way of letting them know that something might be going down. So a couple of weeks ago, I start getting some calls because that system wasn't abided by.
Okay.
In-
Willow, this is my fault. Just straight up, sorry. Alex, my bad. Madison already knows he's cool. But yeah, so apologies for disturbing that peace. I was unaware of the other folks in the area. And when we sort of talked, I said that I was sorry for putting them on edge and that they wouldn't I wasn't going to mess with them.
I
think that's probably wise.
I'm not super concerned about it. It didn't blow up and it hasn't become an issue.
Okay.
However, why
Oh boy.
I especially wanted to talk to you is because not long after that issue got shelved, I got another call
Yeah. About.
from she's a professor at the college. She asked about you, Cadence. She
By name?
named you, yes.
By name.
She knew your name, but I don't think she knew who you were. And that's weird.
Okay, what did she ask specifically?
She wanted to know. She wanted me to describe you.
Okay.
She wanted to know if you were in the area.
Okay.
And she wanted to know if you had a particularly bloody reputation.
I would say that it's probably fair to say I do, but not indiscriminately so. If I defend myself. I'm not necessarily neat about defending myself, but I don't go making trouble if I don't need to.
I told her what I knew about you, which pretty much matches what you just said.
Okay.
But she wants to meet with you.
Okay.
And she really wants to meet with you very soon.
Okay. Can I have this professor's name?
You can. And I'll let you know. It's not like it is with us. Like, it's not a thing of favors or boons or anything like that, but she does have leverage. So I did tell her that you were going to be in the area, so she's expecting you tonight.
Oh, fantastic!
Oh, shit.
But hey,
Wonderful,
I mean,
wonderful.
kill two
And
birds with one
she
stone.
turns
Won't
back
have
to
make
you
another
and
trip out here.
says, I made it clear to her how we roll. That she's not just gonna snake one of us off into whatever fucking cabal weird shit that she's gonna come with backup if she's gonna come.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm really loving this a lot.
Well, I'm assuming that you're gonna have her back.
I think this sounds very exciting, and of course we'll have her back.
That's
Of course,
what-
absolutely, yes.
So
Sorry,
yeah.
guys.
So I really would like it if you were to resolve whatever this is, because the more I have to deal with these weirdos, either of these weirdos, the more my nights become unpleasant.
Yeah, of course.
Totally understand, and yeah, no, this is my bad, and had I known the score beforehand, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, you know what? At least I am not getting calls from the fucking fairies.
The what? No, don't answer. Sorry. Never mind.
I think we've heard enough. There,
Oh
Frank.
no, I'm fucking riveted. No, please continue.
No.
Who else
We're
is
also excited.
practically hostage within your own territory? I'm dying to know. Just those two? Is there anyone else that we should
Hey,
This
know
is
about?
it's not an issue, and it's not something we can't handle unless it becomes an issue, and we don't let it become an issue. So we're not held
Definitely
fucking
not.
hostage anywhere.
yeah, no, what she's saying is people who don't know the score shouldn't be going messing things up so that they have to deal with more stress than they do on normally. Is what I think you're saying, and that's how I'm choosing to interpret it.
All right, I guess that's a good interpretation.
He's like,
I understand how delicate situations can be ruined by one person just, flipping off the wrong schmuck on the street.
so that being addressed, as far as kindred business, what can we do for each other?
First thing that comes to mind in my head is I would like to let you know that our coterie recently suffered an act of direct, pointed physical aggression from a member of the Camarilla.
Really?
The sheriff, in fact.
That piece of shit.
Such a dick.
Yeah.
We don't have concrete plans on how we will choose to respond to this, but we do intend to make clear that we are not to be trifled with nor disrespected.
I can respect that, but with the amount of shit on my plate,
I'm
That's
telling you
not-
this to keep it off your plate, not to ask for your help.
I appreciate the heads up.
That
Don't
is...
get me wrong. If the cam starts, waving its dick around, we're not gonna, sit idly by. But there's a certain threshold that has to be met.
I believe that to be very wise, and I would say, unfortunately, that threshold may be passing the horizon and drawing nearer to us with every passing night.
Well,
they will not abide this truce any longer than is advantageous for them.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I've had some run-ins with that guy. Clan business.
What can you tell me about him, other than the fact that he's an asshole?
He's a huge asshole.
He's a giant
The biggest.
fucking asshole. But he was pretty goddamn instrumental when it came time to push the Sabbat south.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a lot of... He's, for all of his shit and attitude and poor impulse control, he's got a lot of respect, not just in the cam.
I see. I'll be sure to keep that in mind when we're determining how we want to interface with the situation.
Now, don't don't get me wrong, no one likes him,
Right.
but people respect him.
And those two can commingle and stand in for each other depending on the context. Beyond that, nothing really comes to mind. I think it would be quite gauche for us to ask anything of you after you've been so understanding of our gaffe and offered the information you've offered us.
It would be quite gauche.
And, well, I don't consider myself to be a gauche person, so.
Very well. Well, like I said, she is expecting you tonight.
Anywhere specific?
Yeah, she's got a place on campus.
All right.
She basically hands you like a campus map that has a circle, a place circled, and so like they're expecting. I can't really give you much advice on how to deal with these people. They are not. They're weird, and they don't like us, but they're not hostile.
Gotcha.
The one time we've had an issue with these people, they did something to one of my girls that she hasn't recovered from. So take that as you will.
No, I do appreciate the heads up. Even if we don't know exactly what they're capable of, the fact that they are capable of something, we know to be on our toes.
Yeah.
Well, unless any of you have anything else that we need to talk about, you should probably tie off that little loose end.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm very excited about it. Thank you for this opportunity.
As good a time as any. Have a wonderful evening.
You
If
as well.
you want anything, and I sort of give her, I took a page out of that other Nosferatu's book in regards to the P.O. box
Okay.
thing, and I say, hey, if you ever need anything erased off of surveillance or anything covered up, write me a letter. I'd be happy to help another Anarch.
Noted. I'll keep it in mind.
Please.
Okay. So, do you guys head to the location that has been given to you?
I'm afraid that we do.
I'm very uncomfortable.
As they're stepping out of Anita's place, Cadence is going to sort of pull Madison aside and hold up the 1 minute sign for the other two and sort of get out of your distance. Okay, so you and I know what this is about. But so I don't exactly know if I am okay with. I mean, I trust everyone in this coterie like a lot, but this is someone that girl back at the meeting that we went to. I don't necessarily know if I want a whole heck of a lot of people knowing about her, but I don't exactly know how to talk about that.
I think there is no real benefit in us concealing something of this nature from our coterie mates, obviously. Beyond that, if you want to keep this as much on the down low as possible, I can help you do that.
Okay. All right.
Everyone has secrets.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's gonna head back to the other two, and she's like, "Okay, honesty time." So that thing that they were talking about. So a few weeks back, Madison and I went to this thing at the campus because there was someone that I knew when I was still breathing who I wanted to check up on, and so I think this is probably because she actually recognized me. So
Oh.
I'm just putting that out there now because, yeah, we all need to be on the same page.
This is like a personal thing.
Yeah, this is totally a personal thing.
Like a wait in the car personal thing?
No, like this is, you guys are going to be there and you deserve to be on the same page.
Any one of us that has an issue is an issue that all of us share.
Yeah, so it's personal to me, but it's not something that I should hide from you guys.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
So I'm sorry. Like that.
We all make mistakes, dear. It's I'm certain to make some myself sooner or later. So.
Okay.
Okay. So you head over. It's not very far. The place is in the science department. It's actually a small hothouse that's sort of attached to like the biology department. And there's it's a detached building from the main building. So it's basically a small greenhouse that has an office attached to it. The contact information that you have is one Vivian Hernandez, Professor Vivian Hernandez. And it essentially tells you where the building is. That you should hit the intercom outside, and that you are expected there.
All right, so we
So-
all go in together,
So,
right?
yeah.
Right, guys?
100% going together, yeah.
Okay.
So
And
I
Cadence is
pretend like
looking.
I'm gonna go in with them, and then I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Cadence is looking like super nervous. Like you probably haven't really seen her shaken
Yeah.
like she is right now.
Okay,
This
so-
is peopling she is not prepared to do.
you're in front of this building. There is an intercom, and the door is locked. If any of you try it, what are you doing?
Press the button on the intercom.
So Cadence presses it.
Yeah.
There's a buzz. A few moments later, a sort of a quiet voice comes from it and says, "Come in, stay on the path." And there's a buzz from the door, and it unlocks.
Just walking right
Well, I'm
through.
gonna go in and stay on the path.
Okay.
Mm.
When you come in, it is a hothouse. It's a greenhouse. There are lots of plants all around. In rows, and there's the sprinkler systems, and like there's sun lamps that are not turned on right now. Alex, I would like you to roll wits aspects for me.
I can do that. A moment. Ooh, press the button. Ooh. One success.
One success. Your senses, when you sort of your sort of latent paranoia causes your senses to sort of activate a little bit, and you see that there is this barely perceptible scintilla of magical energy on all of these plants.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna continue to not know what that might mean.
Okay. Okay. So you head back. Unless anyone says otherwise, I'm assuming no one's touching anything. No one is.
Nope. Hands off. Just
You might have to stop me, because like some of it, like if it's very pretty, I
Oh,
might
it's-
stop and be like, oh.
It's not so much pretty as these are very strange plants. Like, even if you have like a layman's understanding of botany,
You're confused.
it's a little difficult to identify some of these plants.
I probably do slow down to look at stuff. I'm still tagging along, but like these are cool.
So
He's interested.
as long as you don't touch anything, nothing catastrophic happens. But you do reach the end, and there's a door that leads into sort of the office area of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And the door is ajar, and you hear the soft voice that says, "Come in."
Well, I'm gonna go in.
Eh,
Okay. This is
gonna
a
angle
pretty.
her hat
do it.
down.
This is a pretty small office. It's very cramped. There's a lot of stuff in here, like papers and also like gardening supplies, as well as like some test tubes and just it's a very incoherent thing. There are 2 chairs in front of the desk, so there's only room for 2 of you to sit, and the other 2 would have to find a place to be.
Cadence
I'll
isn't sitting
stand.
down, so
Okay.
Madison and Willow can take him, I guess.
But it is
I'll
not
sit.
it is not there's not enough comfortable enough room for all of you to stand.
I'll gladly sit.
Okay.
I will also sit.
Okay. So the woman that's sitting behind the desk um, is a short, older Hispanic woman. She has sort of a long off-white coat on, and just uh, dirty jeans, and a polo shirt on. And she is probably she appears to be as uncomfortable with this situation as all of you are.
Excellent.
Like, she is not hiding the fact that she's not happy about this. But she's not projecting any hostility. She's
So I'm Cadence. You wanted to see me?
I did. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
I need to get something out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know what all of you are, and you need to understand that my relationship with the universe, with the cosmos, with reality, is primarily through the lens of life. And as such, I have personal problems with what you all are.
We do too. Yeah, we get
Yeah,
it.
I think that's a room-wide sentiment.
I say personal, I do not mean individual problems. I hold no animosity for you as people. It's more about my relationship with the world and reality. I do not wish harm, but understand that this is very difficult for me on a very
We
deep
do.
level.
Yeah, no, try living it. Well,
I
I'm
would
living
rather not.
it. Yeah,
And
you would
I would
rather not.
actually appreciate that you not make comments like that, because that
Okay.
is
All right. So
so she kind of, with that out of the way, a little bit of her tension, because you did not react too terribly to that. And she turns her attention very fully on you, Cadence.
Mhm.
And she says, I have seen you.
Mhm.
I have seen you in my visions, in my dreams. I would like to know what your relationship with Regan is.
She and I shared a home back when my relationship with life was a little more correct.
I see. Can I take it that that home was not a happy one?
It was not. No.
She has forgotten that time, but I sense the pain underneath. She is my apprentice.
Okay.
I do not expect you to understand what that means truly, but she has a lot of potential. She is what we refer to as a sleepwalker. I'm not going to explain that, it would take too long. But I believe that she could awaken. And once again, I'm not going to explain what that means, but suffice to say that it means that she could come into her destiny and her power. But something has been in the way of that. She's been, well, part of her has been waiting for something, and I believe you have something to do with that.
Okay. So what do you want me to do? I assumed that you called us here because she saw me.
No.
And
like I said, she doesn't remember anything from that time. I know the basics because I've looked into it. But when I heard from acquaintances that you or someone matching your description were around, I believe that what I have been seeing is coming to pass.
okay.
She, in order, I believe, to fulfill her potential, she must walk through dark places, and I believe she has been waiting for the appropriate protector.
Oh, so is this like a job interview?
No, it is not a job interview. It is me trusting the things I have seen through my divination and my own power, that if she is to be what she is meant to be, that you must walk with her for a time.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. J- sure.
She I this is it's very unusual that one of your kind has something to do with these matters. But as I said, I am putting a lot of trust. We have tried to awaken her a number of times, and each time there's been something missing.
Well, I can guarantee you 100% that when I learned that she was around,
I made it my job to make sure nothing bad happened to her. That's what caused all this in the first place.
She says, that is good to know. If this is to happen, I will be arranging for some assurances that I will expect you to abide by.
Such as?
He says, I know that your kind has something evil inside you. I may be able to craft something that will prevent it from coming out for a time.
Oh. Okay.
Beyond that, I don't think there's anything else I can do to stop you from doing something bad to her.
I wouldn't let myself do anything bad to her.
You say that, but... And she sort of takes her attention away from you directly and looks to the rest of you and say, not that I have any reason to trust any of you, but do any of you have anything that you can say on her behalf?
Like an endorsement of her good character?
It sounds stupid when you say it that way, but I'm really grasping at things here. Time is running out for all of us in ways that I don't think even... I think that you only understand portions of.
Oh, it's the stag god, right? That's what we were talking about.
She kind of blinks at you and says, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, never mind. She's a good person. You should trust her, even though she is one of us. I think.
There have been scholars among our kind who have considered for long ages the nature of our souls, the nature of who we are when this condition becomes part of our existence. And one constant is that we do not lose everything that is human. We instead must fight for it. We must put forth a concerted effort to remain humane. That any one of us speaks to you so freely, that Cadence speaks to you so freely, that she has devoted herself to the protection of this young woman. I believe those things speak for themselves.
Words are one thing. And if things were not as desperate as they are, I would never consider taking such means. But she has so many destinies upon her. Alex, I'd like you to roll resolve aspects for me, please.
Okay. 1 moment, let me look at shit.
Make sure to include your hunger dice.
Well, of course. So what happens when... Okay. One of the hunger dice is a skull with a vampire, but I got 2 successes.
If you got successes at all, then that skull doesn't mean anything.
Oh, thank God.
The skull only means something if you do not get any successes on your roll. So how many successes did you roll?
2.
2. So when she says when she's talking about destinies, and you look over to Cadence, you see her in a very abstract manner. You see her stretched through time, starting at this point and going several days into the future. And you're not seeing her as she is in this room. You're seeing her in a very archetypical fashion. You're seeing her on an arc that students of Joseph Campbell might be familiar with. And she is standing before the threshold. And your vision of her as she goes past that threshold, you lose track of her. She goes into darkness. But you can sense that she is moving through that arc. And then when you see her again, on the other side of that darkness, you see she is marked 3 times. There is trauma on her body. There is a weight on her heart. And her right hand bears a mark of power. And then you're back in the office.
Okay. I'm just going to stare at her, kind of dumbfounded. And then I'm going to take her hand and look and see if that mark is there.
It's not.
Okay.
You okay there?
Yeah, you haven't completed your initial arc yet, but you're on your way. Yeah.
Oh,
Alex, are you a weeaboo?
A what?
Never mind.
oh,
A what?
what?
Don't worry about it.
Is that another thing that I have to worry about in the dark?
No, it's extremely unimportant. Please just let it go.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not letting it go.
You're
think that we
explaining this
probably
later,
need to-
Madison.
I think we need to research whatever that is because I'm
You're going to
very
be
nervous.
disappointed. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is not a good conversation to have right now.
She's
okay.
she's somewhat disarmed by this conversation. Like, you're talking like normal people do, kind of. And that actually...
while everybody's sort of disarmed, I'm going to look directly at Willow, and I'm going to say, wait, which is the one with the mark? It was Cadence or Willow?
Cadence.
I suck at remembering everybody's names. I'm going to look directly at Cadence, and I'm going to say, I'll stand by you in this. I have a feeling that things are going to get very bad for you throughout this story that we're telling together, but I will always be at your back. All right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Certainly.
Thanks.
Of course.
Professor Hernandez speaks up and she says, "You have the sight, don't you?"
I have the curse, yes.
That's one way to put it, I suppose. Regardless, if you're seeing something, then that confirms once again that we must take these measures. She looks to you, Cadence. She says, "In 3 nights' time, I will send someone to you if you will tell me where you can be found.
Okay.
And I will take you. You will be taken to meet with Reagan, and you will walk with her through her trials."
Okay.
I feel that explaining too much would be dangerous, and I don't think that you will be capable of understanding much of it anyway. This is
That's fine.
I am not trying to insult your intelligence.
No, it's fine. There is a lot in the world that is mind-boggling. So, I don't have to explain yourself.
He says, I don't know if it would be wise for you to take any of your friends, but I don't think that we could stop you from doing so.
No, you don't have to take us. As a matter of fact, this was kind of a lot. This is pretty personal stuff.
It's your
Yeah.
choice, Cadence.
Yeah.
N-
But
If you guys could be like within a block radius in case shit goes south, that'd be cool.
I
we
would
could
Just-
wait
loiter
in the
somewhere
car.
like cool kids.
Yeah, because if anything happens to her while this is going down, I expect one of you to stake me upon my return. You got that?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sure.
She speaks.
I'll let one of them do it because you'll beat the loving snot out of me.
Oh, me
Um,
too. But
She
we
I
might
could beat
have
the
a chance.
living snot out of all of you.
she sort
Yeah,
of tries
do
to
it.
get your attention somewhat. She says,
Sorry.
she says I don't. You might not understand. You need to go out into the woods with her.
Oh,
There's
Oh.
no blocks.
yeah, no, they're not coming with me.
She says,
Sorry, guys, no.
No, it's fine.
Very well.
like I said, 3 nights time. Yeah, I'm assuming you guys give her. You give her like what do you give her as far as where you'll be?
Rendezvous.
Yeah, rather than having them call on her, because she doesn't want them, she doesn't want to volunteer the information about where the haven is. She doesn't
Mhm.
want to be at her brother's because she doesn't want anyone knowing about that relationship. So she will say, I will be at maybe just find a motel like in Cabbage Town. Be like,
Okay.
this is where I'm going to be.
Okay, so you give her a location. She says,
Yeah.
it won't be one of us that picks you up.
Who's it going to be?
You've met her.
Wait a second.
This is
Is-
where you're going is very much. It's not their territory, but it's their purview, and they demand that you be escorted.
Oh, fantastic. She was so pleasant.
He says, just be polite. Don't talk to her. Just don't
Oh.
don't engage, and you'll be fine.
Gotcha.
She says, you're very brave for doing this, and I hope that this is wise.
It is what it is.
He says, she may need to remember what happened.
Right.
You are going into unknown territory. I don't know exactly what will happen when you go where you go. But I trust my magic. I trust my power, and I trust what I have seen.
Okay. Well, I'll do my best.
Well, I
So,
think
is
that
there anything else you need from us while we're here?
no. I think that we can terminate this little rendezvous
Yeah.
without further ado. If everything goes well, we'll never have to do anything like this again.
Yeah.
Thank you
In
for coming.
anticipation of the undeniable truth that nothing ever goes perfectly, he slides a business card with one of his spare numbers across to her.
She picks it up and puts it in a file. She says, thank you.
You have my respect for overcoming your own discomfort in order to do your duty.
Thank you. You have my respect for at least struggling against your nature. I hope that you continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
That's life.
It very much isn't, but Good evening.
That was very funny, very clever. Yeah.
Thank you.
She says, good evening to you
I think
all.
I'm finished. I stand and straighten out my clothes like I've had quite enough of this. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna go warm up the car. I'm done.
I think we're all leaving. He'll
Okay.
give a little
Good call.
bow and leave.
Okay, yeah, you head on out and are not attacked by plant monsters.
Yay! Wait, what? No! I mean, yay!
We touch them on the way out.
Oh, okay. All right, now we're going to have to start
No,
rolling
I'm
dice.
not touching shit. No, stop.
Okay. All right. So, unless you guys want to do any wrap-up role-playing, we can call it for the evening.
So I have a line to end the scene on.
Okay.
So they all get in the car. I'm assuming Willow's driving.
Yeah.
They pull out and they get on the freeway, and there's this beat of silence, and then Madison says, "We really need a name." See.
At which point Alex is going to just bust out laughing to the top of his lungs.
Okay. Nice. All right. So we'll wrap that up for now.
Awesome.
I think McKenna, you are not going to be with us next game.
Nope. I will be busy being on an awesome vacation, and y'all should be jealous.
I'm
Oh, I
totally
love it.
jealous.
Definitely am. Definitely. Thanks a bunch.
It's awesome. Yeah.
But when you come back, we're going to have a solo session with Cadence to detail out what happens to her in the woods.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that will not be on a normal night. We'll work out when that is when you come back. But I urge everyone to pay attention to that. And I will say, just as a word of warning, that session is gonna get dark and weird.
Oh
Yay.
gosh, I'm so excited.
Indeed. All right. So, does anyone have anything they want to announce or plug or anything like that?
I do have a new plug.
Oh shit.
I have started up my own streaming channel, partially inspired by having fun here on Simulacra TV.
Cool.
Right now, it's only Tuesday evenings, starting around 7 o'clock. It's a variety gaming stream, very relaxed, casual kind of atmosphere. You can find that at twitch.tv/MazMedias, and I'm pretty sure that is also a link in the doobly-doo, as the kids say.
It's been in the various doobly-doos, but we'll highlight it.
But yeah, come watch me get mad at games and voice act characters and weird JRPGs and shit. That's what I do.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
I have something to drop that's not ready yet, but will be occurring very soon. I'm actually also about to start a Twitch stream. I had the amazing stroke of good fortune to run into the very first gaming group I ever ran all the way back in 1996.
Holy shit.
We are getting together again. We're getting the band back together, and we're going to run a 5th edition D&D game on Twitch starting this upcoming Monday. And
awesome.
Because I don't have everything put into stone just yet, I can't really announce like where you can find me. But by the next time we play, I will have place for you to go and everything, and we will of course share it on my Facebook, and I probably will elbow Simulacrum into sharing it for me.
Absolutely, that will totally happen. That's super exciting. I can't wait to see that. Ladies, anything?
No, I'm boring.
No, you're not.
Yes, no, we love you, Mo.
Oh my gosh, thanks. I need that validation.
In addition to my commission pages, which are always open, please throw your money at me. Like I said, I'm going on vacation. I need that sweet.
Where are you going, by the way?
I am going actually to Taipei.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, I was an exchange student there for just under a year, and as my 1-year anniversary present, my husband is taking me back.
It's awesome.
That's really great.
Yeah. So, so in addition to my commission pages, which are always open, this is not it's something that I'm tangentially involved in that I run a 2nd edition Changeling the Lost game, and one of my players has been chronicling the entire thing on Tumblr, and he's a fantastic author. So if anyone wants to read some fun fairy drama. That's Through the Glass Darkly at tumblr.com.
Okay, and I will definitely put
tumblr.com, rather.
that link will be put in the doobly-doo. All right. Well, I don't have anything particular. Watch Wrath and Glory tomorrow night on Simulacra TV. It's Matthew, a friend of the show, and he's running a Wrath and Glory game. They've worked out their technical issues and whatnot, and I think we've worked out our technical issues as well.
It was much smoother this time.
Much smoother. The glory of paying for something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for playing. Thank you everyone out there for watching, both here and on YouTube and in podcast land. It was fun. It's great. I think it's just going to get better, and we'll have some fun next time. Bye, guys.
See you guys
Bye.
next time. Fuck Nazis.